今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。今天看齐，墙上写着秦香莲的32岁了，装个当朝驸马郎的气质王啊，满皇上的回2岁了，装个当朝。
Let's go. Oh god. Hold on. I gotta check something real quick. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, we're good now. Okay, so yeah, we're going back into learning more into, these like linguistic channels. They're like really entertaining, and like I said, it's cool when we get to see how it goes, socially outside. And sometimes I guess I could learn some words, like maybe I'll try Duolingo, but it's kind of hard for me to like get motivated, or maybe babble. I don't know, bruh. Maybe we should do something like that. That would be interesting. So yeah, we're going back to Yiddish, and you guys might have remembered I was watching Frankie Light, and now he's with Zalman. I'm like, what? I mean Zalman, my bad. I think I keep forgetting. But yeah, we're like with Zalman now, and they both, are collabing, and it was crazy because I just saw like Frankie Light going to synagogue, and now he's collabing with this dude. It's pretty wild. So yeah, we're bound to check this out. So basically today,
Yeah! So in my last video, I went around Orthodox Hasidic Jewish neighborhoods practicing my Yiddish, and people were very surprised. A rabbi invited me back to give me a rare insider's tour of Chabad World Headquarters, which is one of the biggest Hasidic Jewish movements in the world. And of course, along with my YouTuber friend Frankie Lai, who also speaks some Yiddish, I had plenty of opportunities to practice my Yiddish, but also Hebrew, and oddly enough, both Spanish and Mandarin Chinese, all with...
All right, so Yeah, I wanted to let you know that basically, I was gonna live stream earlier, but I'm working on a new song and I really want to, get ready by Halloween and drop it by Halloween. What day is it? Let's see. Okay, so I got like 5 days. So I'm basically, gonna just like write, perform, and mix it afterwards. And after that, I'll see, where it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much the plan because now we got like 5 days to do all this stuff. I might live stream on Halloween, but I kind of want to record doing Omega with my costume. So I'll see, I'll see.
With Hasidic Jews. But first, thanks to my own company, Street Smart Languages, for sponsoring this video. Now, people are always asking me, hey Shauma, how come you speak so many languages? And the answer is that it only takes me about 15 hours to learn a language to the point where I can have basic conversations in it. And that's not because I'm some kind of genius. In fact, exactly the opposite. It's simply because now I figured out that when you're learning a new language, the most important thing is to focus on what I call the opening moves. Like when you're having a conversation with somebody in their language for the first time, the questions that you often get are very similar. Like, how do you speak this language? Where are you from? You've already learned like 50% plus of what you're likely to encounter in your first 5 minutes of talking with a native speaker. But the good news is now you can use this exact same approach because I literally just co-founded my own language learning company called Street Smart Languages. We have beginner courses that use this same approach to teach you new languages. And we already have beginner courses in Mandarin, Spanish, and very soon French and Japanese. Can you speak a language but you're not fluent yet? The solution is really that you just need more input. And that's how I was able to take my Chinese from beginner level to fluent. When I was living in China, I literally every morning I would wake up and the first thing I would do is turn on the TV, the news in Chinese, and just get a lot of input. Essentially, we created a professionally produced TV show so you can enjoy watching content in your new language just like you would by binging a show on Netflix. So if you're interested in checking out these courses, make sure to go to streetsmartlanguages.com and use code FLUENT for 20% off all courses. And I know you guys are going to love these courses because I literally helped make them, and so make sure to check them out.
We are in front of Chabad World Headquarters. Okay. The message of Chabad is to spread out to the entire world. There are Chabad shluchim and emissaries to the entire world. I have uncles in Hong Kong. Get out and go do goodness and kindness.
Like when a lot of people, especially non-Jews, like think about Hasidic Jews, they think about a lot of times a very close community, like all keep everything to themselves. You're describing almost the opposite, right?
Absolutely. And
like you guys go everywhere.
Philosophy. This is my good friend from Israel. He's a big rabbi in Israel.
Shalom Aleichem. אני מדבר קצת עברית.
You're going to see something amazing here. Now this would seem like a very small entranceway, but
oh yeah, some people were saying something about the fish islands, and it's funny because this is exactly what Sneeko was doing, when he was going out in the public in New York and with his like fisheye, lens, and man, it's pretty wild. Some people don't like this change; they like the regular one. I do feel, especially when he's like in the large public spaces, it does get annoying because it gets disorienting. But other than that, I think it's pretty dope still.
The whole Chabad movement, which today is thousands and thousands and thousands of people, comfortably was able to fit in a room this size.
Wow.
When the Rebbe accepted upon himself the leadership of the Chabad movement, it was in this room. That was the whole crowd. Can you imagine? You think about it. The Rebbe said, we're going to spread light to the whole world. We're going to bring the redemption to the world. It was right here in a room this size. That's how big Chabad is.
So are there people praying here like 24/7?
Well, during the holiday, pretty much. Because you have to understand, on Sukkot, in Crown Heights, where we are, there is a phenomenon called that it's day 24/7. The streets, they close up all the streets, they dance till 6 a.m. all night.
Wow.
So the day finishes at 6.
Yeah, that's what we saw. Frankie Light went to that party at night that the rabbi invited him at. So we kind of got a glimpse of how that's like. Like they got the whole block locked down.
A little later as well. So there's people praying during the holidays all day, all night.
So I think one thing a lot of people are interested in, if you look around, everybody's wearing like similar clothing.
A friend of mine joins Chabad and comes back dressed the hat and the jacket, and his friends are like, wow, you joined a cult. You're dressed like everyone else. It's true that there's nothing inherently sacred about a specific dress, but like every army has a uniform. it's not a negative thing to show identity.
I think a lot of people would think, oh, you know, the rules are so strict, like there must be tons of people leaving. Like the reality is the attrition rate, if you call it, is extremely low, right? It's like 5%. Like people, there's clearly something here that attracts people.
The Rebbe didn't force that phenomenon. He never forced his followers to go anywhere. He inspired them. When you're inspired, when you're on fire, and there's a warmth, you just feel it. Everyone feels like there's an old expression, Hasidim feel like one family.
Right.
You feel it over here. Everyone knows each other. Everyone's happy. Everyone's doing this out of their joy. When you're doing it out of joy, the kids see it, feel it, and they're not looking to run away from it.
So we seem to have just been surrounded by an impromptu prayer group.
They've decided to daven right here because it's as good as anywhere else today.
Right.
People almost feel like this whole area is an extended synagogue.
Next, I met this guy Moshe Frank, who wanted to show me his drink company and his art fair, but we ended up getting sidetracked by Jews who speak Chinese.
This is my drink.
This is your drink.
My drink.
Seltzer.
Infused with grapefruit.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I grew up mixing it myself.
Kan je drinken, yes?
Yes, you can
All right. Let's try.
1 second.
你好吗？
Hey! 你会说中文吗？
我会说一点中文。你新加坡还是？
Wow. 新加坡？
新加坡。
你看过我的视频吗？
Because I made videos.
Yo, are they speaking Mandarin or Cantonese?
Wow. Alle reden Jiddisch und Hebräisch? Ja. Delicious. Ich hab stark lieber.
Ob ich stark gebe.
Von was du hast gewonnen in
Je kent Chabad?
Oh ja.
Signalen met naar de ganze Welt.
Wow.
Van de Kieler van Jeden.
Oh my god. Hungashi Listening.
Ah, ja.
Oh my god. Yo, the fisheye lens is wild here.
God, you guys are like really going around.
Oh, yeah.
We're the Jewish Mormons.
This is your art show here.
My art show, yeah.
This is like a Hasidic Jewish art show.
This is a Hasidic Jewish art show. The only
Yo,
one
this is wild. It looks like the Kendrick Lamar video.
the creative director of all the art. His wife is Taiwanese.
Oh really? Oh, 你会讲中文吗？ Okay. You speak Chinese?
Wait, are they speaking Chinese? Yo.
他们跟我说呀。Sí, porque aprendo muchos idiomas en mi canal y uso en las calles para
Yo, everybody here got, you know, languages as weapons. It's wild.
Why?
You think? Some people actually do tell me that sometimes.
Tonight,
Yeah.
stay later. Street
Yeah.
dancing until 6 a.m.
I know, that's insane. Now my brother Nate is taking me shopping, but the one catch is that the vendors don't speak English.
During the holidays, Israelis come here because if they're Chabad and they're in Israel, the Rebbe's here.
I see.
You'll hear a lot of French here.
Honestly, I wouldn't necessarily see them as a cult. I know he was talking about that, but it's like when people go to like a Christian or Catholic church, they necessarily don't wear the same thing, but you know, they dress up. So it's really, you know, the tradition basically.
Why French? They come from France?
There's a big Chabad community in France also, yeah.
And yeah, like, you know, we might just be seeing a part of it, but it generally does look like a welcoming place, you know. I think it's cool, you know, when they let other people that might be outsiders kind of learn about it. I think that's pretty cool. And like be respectful about it too.
Mashiach kippahs. Is it good? Is it good on me? Get myself a kippah. It's a little bit small, right? Ich will ein große kippah. Yeah, this is better size.
En español?
I need a little bit of it.
Wait, he knows a bit of Hebrew?
What? 11? 11? 11. 11.
You got it?
Let's, I got it. I got a little Hebrew. All right. Tודה רבה.
Oh my god.
Speak English back there. Yes, they only speak Hebrew.
A lot of people in Chinatown also don't speak any English. And
Exactly. That's true.
when you have an insular community, you don't necessarily need to branch out.
You're right.
This is where everybody learns and prays and looks like they're dancing or doing some sort of...
I've seen this in my dream before, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Place is the center, man. It's the center. You know?
I recognize you. You truth. Speak Chinese.
Yeah.
That's awesome to see.
Yeah. Cool.
Yo, the lens. Yo, that lens is wild.
Was machst du?
Yiddish. You can speak
Yeah.
Yiddish. Nice. Very cool.
Bro, I swear this is a Kendrick Lamar music video.
Jewish lunch, of course.
Oh, Frankie!
Was willst du? Was ist Arugula?
Yeah!
Okay. Mein Chave will Arugula. Will jiddische Arugula. Oh.
Yeah, we got the flaky. Yeah,
She's
Ish. Zegat. Okay, Zegat's to go.
1586.
Oh, okay. 15
You mentioned.
Oh my.
Dude, you speak good. Where did this come from?
You want sugar? No, that's okay.
Suka. Suka is sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avade.
Avada.
Avade. Avade is, of course.
Hey, Baruch Hashem.
You're good.
Okay, come in. Are we gonna do that again? Or?
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
Wow.
Why does that look like a leech?
That's good, right?
My favorite.
Vamos ler esta questão assim?
Why?
Why?
Mention.
It's fucking
Mincha.
right? Okay, wow. Very good. Good language to know. Best curse words.
Tell me some good ones.
At least, you know, cocking with chicken it.
Right.
Yo, yo, the kid goes back and like, yo, what are they saying?
You like the food?
Delicious. Next month. The roulade was on fire. Alright, Steven. After you.
You see this?
Wow.
This is Yiddish. Lot kosher. It's like extra kosher.
Not kosher.
Different
Okay.
level of kosher. Yeah. Can I have a pastrami sandwich?
You pastrami? Okay. Ik wil een pastrami looi. Of rij. Ja.
Pasta kishka?
Pasta. Okay.
It's your first time trying kishka?
Yeah.
It's about to be an out-of-body experience.
What is this? What is this? No, it's like my past life. I think I was Jewish in my past life. What is this? You drink this? Ja.
Willst du essen mein pastrami? Willst du essen mein pastrami?
Ja.
Ja?
That's wild, dog.
By nightfall, it was time to go to a big Jewish street dance party. But first, this happened. Photo?
Yo también, sí.
You guys know me?
I follow you.
You guys speak Yiddish or no?
Foto. Chile, ¿no? Foto. Yo speak China, Argentina.
Argentina,
yeah.
Oh, todos de Argentina.
Sí.
Wow, muy bien.
Lo mismo yo
¿Y por qué?
China, ¿no? Habla China. Sí, yo vi un video tuyo de yendo a un bar que hablaba re chino bien y yo te reconocí.
No tanto.
Oh, they're from Argentina.
Dale, pasá.
Oh, wait, but are they Jewish?
Aprendí en Nueva York.
Man, New York is a different breed, dude.
Mexicanos y venezolanos. Y ustedes en Nueva York
Okay.
solo por su voz. Wow. Estoy aprendiendo el Yiddish. Ahora sí.
Habla un poco en inglés.
Oh,
¿Sos judío?
Oh, gosh.
Me estás jodiendo. ¿Te pusiste judío, boludo? ¿Sos tefilín?
a veces.
Está bien, che.
¿No te gusta Nueva York?
Sí. Vos sos de acá, ¿no? Vos sos de acá.
Sí.
Este es el chino, boludo.
Yo, everybody's wilding out when they see him. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'd probably, go up and start trying to speak some Spanish if he ever comes to Florida.
Chao. ¿Vos hablas en 15 idiomas?
Aprendo mucho, pero... mexicano.
¿Podés mandar un saludo? Tipo, hola.
Oh, sí.
Acá en videollamada.
Hi. Hola. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Vas a estar ahí en los bailes?
¿Ah? Sí.
Your channel is
Best.
all work.
Thank you, guys.
Eres el jefe.
Oh, hi. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Ik heb net een video, dat zie
Ja, ik ben aan het Heber. Ik ben from Argentina. Nice to meet you guys. So this is like it's just like food is open to everybody.
Only for everybody. We have non-Jewish people coming. We have African Americans coming.
Pashkin is not the wrong.
Hapa. And you see here, families that don't have a dollar this all year around here. We keep the house open. This is a very, very big thing. There's thousands of people
Okay.
from all over the world. Here. And we serve here cereal, milk, cakes, coffee, tea, 24 hours. This is 24/7. And sleeping too. We have a lot of people sleeping here. Come.
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
I love the weather.
It's expensive, right, to do all this?
Come. Give a look. All different walks of life here.
Oh, this is like a refuge?
Wow.
See what's going on.
Yo, this is wild. There's a lot of people.
Some people are wealthy and they decide to put it all away into a condo, and some people decide to do something like this.
Yeah.
You want to try some?
It's really great. And he has like a block-long soup.
Yeah, the whole block.
Where people are eating in here.
Sleeping even.
And sleeping. And this whole thing is...
One continuous.
That's amazing. And the chicken soup is
So
delicious.
this is a long hallway.
It's like a block party here, right?
Right. This is what being an Orthodox Jew is all about.
What, partying?
Well, let's get some cotton candy.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that he has it, I guess, like a refuge. And he has like different types of people there. Yeah, that's hella cool, bruh.
You want a circle? What if I put you on my shoulders? Really weird.
Yo, this is what we saw last time. The block party. You imagine like playing in the band, you know, for this. It would be really fire.
What? I'm from Argentina. Argentina. That's Argentina. Oh yeah.
Yo, no, they're picking him up. Oh no. There's no way they're moshing now. Yo, this turned into EDC.
You know, next year it's gonna be old news, but what's not gonna be old news is next year, right here in this spot, they're gonna be doing the same exact thing for generations to come, and that's what makes religion, Judaism very special.
Yeah.
Because it's a tradition and it's constant.
Yeah.
Yo, that looks hella fun. I like that a lot. Yo, the schools are inviting him now? Yeah, dude, I'm jealous too. Man gets to see like so many different cultures. Man, that's wild. Yeah, they were teaching him how to cuss. I think they even taught him how to cuss in Haitian Creole. That's wild, dude. This dude is living everyone's dreams. Man, that was fun though. Like the block parties look really fun. What would Jesus sound? I gotta see this.
By the end of this video, I'm going to speak to you in the reconstructed ancient dialect that Jesus spoke 2,000 years ago. So even though the New Testament was written in Greek, several clues give away that Jesus spoke a rare variant of Aramaic, a Semitic language originally from Syria. Mark 15:34, Jesus is described as shouting something that's mangled in Greek but is clearly originally Aramaic. And it's actually not surprising that he spoke this language. It was in widespread use at the time among Jews. In fact, 2 books of the Hebrew Bible, Daniel and Ezra, are partially written in Aramaic, and numerous prayers in modern Judaism are still recited in Aramaic. But the most difficult part about reconstructing the original pronunciation of Jesus is that we know he spoke a very unusual dialect from the region of Galilee, located in contemporary Israel and Lebanon. Matthew 26:73, your accent gives you away. Luke 22:59, he is a Galilean. It was actually regarded as a bit of a country bumpkin dialect, and the ancient Babylonian Talmud.
So wait, Galilean is basically like the country, like if it's like, you know, the southern accent here.
But often makes fun of it, including by calling it sloppy. Therefore, scholars knew very little about it until recently when original manuscripts written in language were discovered in Egypt. One Aramaic expert has spent decades studying them, and here's a conversation he reconstructed that Jesus himself might have spoken. By the end of this video, I'm going to speak...
Yo, I gotta see the comment section. When we make contact with aliens, we're sending this guy to learn their tongue. Next video, white guy travels back in time to ancient Palestine and shocks Jesus by speaking perfect Aramaic. Yeah, how did Adam and Eve sound? That would be an interesting concept. I love the fact that Jesus used a countryside dialect. That makes him, that more of a homegrown, like humble, like carpenter. It gives it definitely. It just like fits with it, to be honest. Biblical studies. Aramaic, Hebrew, and Arabic. So is it like a mix of Greek and Egyptian or what? He probably knew fluent Egyptian too, because he spent his childhood growing up there too. Oh yeah, there was like a Jesus game. Hold on, let me see. I wanted to see if I could play that. Apparently it's supposed to come out this year, but I don't know. Should we play that like at Christmas? It's not available yet, but it looks really cool. I'm not gonna lie, for what it is. Damn, this man is trying to resurrect Jesus back, for the second coming. No, he did. English wasn't yeah, like like he wasn't English speaking. I mean, that's how they kind of like translated to, but no. Yeah, he spoke wait, let's see what it was called again.
You in the reconstructed ancient dialect that Jesus spoke 2,000 years ago. So even though the New Testament was written in Greek, several clues give away that Jesus spoke a rare variant of Aramaic.
Aramaic, okay. Excuse me. So yeah, he didn't speak English. I think, I don't know when, but Latin used to be like the universal language, like how English is kind of like mostly spoken nowadays. And apparently, one of the teachers told me, and I don't know if this is true, that English is like rooted, in the Germanic language, I guess. Oh, let's see, in ancient Egyptian.
In this video, I'm going to speak to you in reconstructed ancient Egyptian. But how is that possible when no one speaks the language anymore and it's written with seemingly indecipherable hieroglyphics? In 1799, the 2,200-year-old Rosetta Stone was discovered with inscriptions of the same text.
Ironically, no, not ironically, but funny enough, coincidentally, I like how Rosetta Stone is to like learn a new language, and we're trying to learn ancient Egyptian.
Ancient Egyptian and Greek. Scholars cracked the code by looking at the hieroglyphics that corresponded to Greek names and finding that they were actually being used to spell out foreign words like an alphabet. So a name like Ptolemy would be spelled P-T-L-M-Y-S. Amazingly, these letters matched up with the hieroglyphics used to write names on other sources like obelisks, and scholars eventually produced an alphabet of 24 letters that could be used to write the entire Egyptian language. The only problem is that similar to other Afro-Asiatic scripts like Arabic or Hebrew, in ancient Egyptian only consonants are represented, not vowels. The key to solving this mystery was to realize that similar to how Italian descends from Latin, the Egyptian language actually still exists today in the form of Coptic, which is still used as a liturgical language in Egypt today, vowels and all. And based on how linguists know languages change over time, they can reconstruct entire ancient Egyptian words. So the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs Nutr, or God, can be reconstructed as Nakar, based on Coptic Nute. So putting it all together, here's what a sentence in ancient Egyptian may have sounded like in 2500 BC. In this video, I'm gonna...
Yo, dude is gonna summon something. You gotta be careful. You spoke that sentence and my couch started floating. You okay now? After he spoke that sentence, scarabs flew out my toaster. Bro, be careful. You're gonna summon the mummy or something. Ain't that right? Oh yeah, we gotta see Jean Gina. How could we forget Jean Gina? You know,
you try to teach yourself different things like
we're Bing chilling.
how to play the piano.
Apparently, Bing chilling means ice cream.
Or you're learning how to speak Mandarin. Yeah, correct. In your spare time. But you were so busy.
Well, yeah, but man, you can like
Rosetta Stone?
No, I got a tutor. We talk and
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something really key. Like, if you want to get good at any language, speaking is your best bet. And as we'll see, this strategy has really paid off for John Cena.
Yeah, Mandarin's tough.
Yes, it is.
I got a Rosetta Stone. I couldn't even get past the first hour.
Okay, so we'll try something here.
Okay.
你好，我是 John Cena。
你好。
他是我的朋友 Jimmy Fallon。
Okay. So far so good. I mean, his Mandarin would really be totally comprehensible to native speakers. There's really no grammar mistakes or anything like that. He's actually legitimately speaking Mandarin. I don't know whether he's doing this for dramatic effect or not, but you notice that his speaking voice in Chinese is actually quite high relative to his English.
我是 John Cena.
And I think like a lot of learners do this. Like, there's kind of this perception that you have to sort of like...
Wouldn't it be Jean Gina? You know, I'm gonna put, you know, my bets that it's Jean Gina.
Sing Chinese, it's like, 你好，我是 John Cena. Strictly speaking, that's kind of unnecessary.
Jean Gina.
Hey, 你好，我是 John Cena, right? All the same.
你好, John Gina.
Though his pronunciation could use a little bit of work. You may have heard that Chinese has tones and he somewhat botches them. So for example, he says,
他是我的朋友 Jimmy Fallon.
Whereas the correct Chinese pronunciation is 他是我的朋友. 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 This actually doesn't really affect comprehension, as much as you might think. People are still going to be able to understand what he's saying, but it's sort of like in English, if instead of saying, he is my friend, Jimmy Fallon, you were instead to say the sentence, he is my friend, Jimmy Fallon. Like, you can see the emphasis is kind of off, the prosody is a little bit off. Like, people are going to look at you a little funny, like you're not a native speaker. But the thing is, you know, we, as English speakers, can still understand that sentence.
Jimmy Fallon 工作我是主持人，在电视节目名字 The Tonight Show.
Okay. So, I don't want to be, but he kind of falls apart a little bit here. And to preface this by saying, I'm actually super impressed by his Mandarin, like really impressed. He's making a lot of grammar mistakes, but by these grammar mistakes, you can actually tell that he's a fluent Mandarin speaker because he's just speaking off the cuff. He hasn't memorized this sentence. If he was just memorizing 3 sentences to say on national television, he would have memorized these sentences with perfect grammar, but he hasn't. Jimmy Fallon has asked him to speak some Chinese and he's just speaking off the cuff, so it's actually really impressive what he can do. And I don't mean that in like a patronizing way either, like, oh, his Chinese is kind of good, but mine is way better. Context matters so much here. Like, I've dedicated my life to learning Chinese, and so naturally I've gotten pretty good at it, but he's spent only a couple years learning Mandarin, and he's gotten functionally fluent, while also being a world-famous actor and wrestler. Like, that's kind of crazy. But if you want to be nitpicky, grammatically, this sentence is actually a bit of a mess. So what he says is, Jimmy Fallon 工作是主持人，在电视节目名字 The Tonight Show. When he should have said, Jimmy Fallon 的工作室名字叫 Tonight Show 的电视节目的主持人. So it would be as though somebody said in English instead of
okay, only got Jimmy Fallon the Tonight Show.
They instead said Jimmy Fallon is the host of a called Tonight Show. It doesn't really make sense. Like, you can kind of understand what they're saying, but it's a little bit off. The thing is, I actually don't blame him for getting this wrong because in Chinese, relative clauses are actually very unusual from an English speaker's perspective. Like, for example, in English, when you say the sentence, I have a friend called Jimmy, in Mandarin, what you would be saying is, I have a called Jimmy friend. So the clause that modifies the noun actually comes before it and modifies it almost like an adjective, which is like a very unusual kind of thought pattern for English speakers, and I remember too when I first started learning Chinese, like for me that was also like super confusing. The other thing I want to note about this sentence, I was a little bit confused what he was saying at first because he does mispronounce the word for TV host, 主持人, as 主持人, which actually means something more like the registered person or the registrant. But overall though, I'm actually super impressed by his Chinese. It's obviously not perfect, but the fact that such a busy guy took the time out of his schedule to learn Mandarin Chinese like this to seeming fluency is actually really
being
cool.
chilling, you know.
现在我拍电影，但是我给手机吃饭，我不可以用我的手机，我们拍的时候，所以我现在拍这个，因为他们给我老干妈。
Wow. Okay. So here, his grammar is really actually very on point here. And it's super cool what you can see in this clip, right? Because he's, first of all, he's totally fluent. He's speaking extemporaneously, right? This is just a one-take selfie shot. He obviously hasn't prepared this in advance. His tones, again, are not great. Could use a little bit of work. But his grammar is really on point, and what he's saying is actually totally comprehensible. And you can tell this because this clip actually went viral in China, and Chinese people were able to understand what he was saying without any problem. He's basically conversationally fluent in Mandarin Chinese, which is really impressive. What to me is so impressive is like, he really isn't afraid to just open his mouth and start speaking, you know, despite the fact that he doesn't have perfect Chinese. Maybe most celebrities would not be willing to just kind of get out there on TV and say stuff in Chinese and risk themselves going so wrong. You know, he's able to do that. And as a result, he's kind of honed his Chinese to legitimate fluency. And I know that this video so far might sound kind of critical of his Chinese, but I actually think he's improved a lot since he first started speaking Chinese in 2016, when he went as the spokesperson for the WWE to China to give a public speech in Chinese. Let's take a look at that.
谢谢，刚刚对不起，因为我会设计用中文，但是大多数时候我的中文只模糊。
Just like, first of all, just looking at his composure, again, just as a reminder, this is like the first time he's spoken Chinese in public, and you can see it. You can see like the nervousness, you can see the sweat dripping down his face. He's very nervous, he's not confident in this language. Particularly when you compare it with the later clips, it's really night and day. Also, something else that I think is really interesting.
Wait.
He sounds very, very American. Okay, so like, listen to this part.
我会说慢，我会说容易。
So like his intonation, right? 我会说慢，我会说容易. I am going to speak slowly, and I am going to speak simply. Right? 我会说慢，我会说容易. But he's emphasizing it the exact way that an American would emphasize it, right? Whereas a Chinese person might say 我会说的简单一点. Like with sort of a different kind of intonation, right? Different speech pattern, different prosody. So you don't really see that as much in his later clips. So I think it's very interesting here.
请允许我告诉你们，一点关于 WWE。WWE 是传说公司。
Look at that woman in the back. Did you guys see that? She was like very confused because John Cena is having some pronunciation issues in this speech that are like, remember, you know, I talked about his tones earlier. His tones aren't great, but that's okay. Like, you can still kind of understand what he's saying. In this speech, like, he has pronunciation issues beyond just tones. Like, he's pronouncing certain things that are kind of very incomprehensible. Like, for example, the word
是传说公司。
传说公司. You know, he says 传说公司 instead of
传说公司.
全球公司. So it's kind of, you know, when a lot of those stack up, it's sort of harder to understand what's actually going on. Like this section over here, I had to play a few times before I was really able to understand what was actually going on.
WWE 生意跟保护公路，但在中国，以前不大。
And I imagine that a Chinese speaker in the audience wouldn't have been able to understand what he was saying at first, right, without really paying close attention. It would be as though, as you said the line in English, like, the WWE business and exposure has been bad in China for many years. You can sort of understand where it's coming from, but there's enough issues where it actually becomes kind of hard for comprehension. And then even very basic words too here, like
我认为这是坏事。
he says 我认为这是坏事, which means something believes that this is a bad thing. What I think what he was trying to say was 我认为这是坏, like I think this is a bad thing. So he mispronounced the word for I. Like, he did say it correctly in other places during the speech, so I know that he knows how to pronounce that word correctly, but probably due to nerves or whatever, he mispronounced it here. And he also just, like, kind of pauses a lot during the speech.
我很感谢。
Right, like, I am very thankful for. Those kind of things all add up to making the speech more difficult to understand. And the point is not to throw out these gotchas for, like, criticizing John Cena. The point is to show, like, how much he's actually improved. Like, his Chinese has gotten so much better since 2016, and like in this speech, I wouldn't really call him fluent here because it's really honestly very difficult to understand. Whereas just a couple years later, his Chinese wasn't perfect, but it was really intelligible, and like, you know, he could definitely, I feel confident in saying that he'd be able to have a conversation with.
Yo, why did they turn off the comments
anybody in Chinese
on that video?
Without an issue. And by the way, if you guys are looking to learn Chinese, make sure to check out my Chinese course.
Oh man. All right, squad, BRB. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave early. I gotta go sleep. Got work tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really happy I was able to watch some Jaman videos with you guys. And tomorrow I'm thinking about going over PewDiePie because I really liked watching a lot of PewDiePie, but I think I gotta work on a song first. So maybe I don't know if I'm gonna go and live stream tomorrow since I got a lot to kind of cover first before I could do more things. But thank you guys for whoever stopped by and watch. And you